here are the other individuals in this particular series.
Yes, whatever the heck.
Work our way down to another edition.
AJ Styles, which I really enjoy.
The Young Bucks. And the Bomb Squad 4 live.
Alright, we're in the top row of the second colorful case.
What is going on, the Bomb Squad? This is Don the Bomb. And as always, I am back for another action-packed wrestling figure unboxing and review. So today I'm going to be unboxing Mattel WWE Main Event Series 160 Basic Kelani Jordan. There she is right there in that plastic prison, as my YouTube friend Kyle Peterson says. She is in NXT, and I'm not a person that follows NXT ever since, 2020. When they went to that NXT 2.0, I kind of checked out there. I thought NXT was great before that. But as I've heard in the last year or so, it's gotten a lot better. And I do watch, if I remember, I watch the YouTube weekly highlights, so I do have an idea what's going on. And I do know that Kelani Jordan was or still is the the TNA Impact World Champion, Women's Champion. So I don't know if she still is, but she was last that I paid attention. And I'm also glad that I found this at Walmart. So instead of paying like those crazy third-party eBay prices that are over $30 for her, and some of the other women's figures that lately have been really, really hard to get for some reason. So especially the basic series, the main event series, for whatever reason, they're impossible to find in retail. I've heard people say that they've gotten into full cases of these and not even find one women's figure. So that is disappointing for people that like to collect women's figures. Like my buddy over at Lumberjillville, Mayor Aaron, who is a very good YouTube reviewer as well. He does all women's figures. But here are the other individuals in this particular series. One of my favorites is this Tongaloa with the eye patch. You could definitely stick this figure in any line. He makes a good thug or a bodyguard or some kind of character like that. So that's what I would think he'd be good at. But anyway, there's Kelani Jordan. So without any further ado, let's get right into this. Free her from the prison. Luckily, not too hard to get out. All right, there she is. Yeah, it seems like they're doing a little bit of a better job with the women's main event figures, even though I do hate the fact that they pretty much all use almost the same body and they paint on almost every detail instead of sculpt, but you can see it still came out pretty good with the white, grayish, silver, black attire, kick pads, knee pads. Now this is a pretty detailed outfit, but like I said, all painted on. There's no sculpting here. They did a nice job with their hair though, braided hair, and even has this one little single piece right here. That's pretty cool. So, all right, and the main event style figures have had better articulation in the last year or so, which is really good to see. Before they were just kind of like statues. Not like they were back in like 2010 to like maybe 2018, where they were almost like elite articulation. But you have your single jointed elbows, and I'm not even trying to bend. The knees are hard to bend, so might have to heat that up. But you know, there's no ab crunch. There's some little bit up and down. You have the removable hands, but there's no other accessories that come with her, so you get your basic stuff there. But it's definitely a lot better posability than they were, you know, the last handful of years. So NXT's Kelani Jordan. We'll bring in some other figures here. An old Mattel Elite Sasha Banks, or Mercedes Moné, now she's known as an AEW. Pretty much similar height there. But back in these days, articulation was so much better. You had the thigh cut and you had the bicep cut, and yeah, I'll digress though. And then Jazz wears AEW Willow Nightingale. I believe AEW does scale their figures much better with their male counterparts as opposed to WWE, who makes their women's figures look like, you know, pre-teens, children. But I think this Willow should be a little taller though, because during my video of her, you know, her comparisons were a little shorter than her AEW counterparts. And then Boss Fight Lucha Libre Lady Maravilla figure. They were always scaled a little smaller, even though they've gotten better in the last year or so. But unfortunately, they don't really put many series out, which is disappointing because this is an awesome line. But be it as it may. So if I had to rate this figure, I'd probably give it a solid, 8 out of 10. So I'm eventually going to start watching NXT a little more often, or a little more, because, I guess they're doing some pretty good stuff down there with Ricky Saints and Oba Femby and Trick Williams and some of those other interesting characters, Sean Spears. But anyway, Kelani Jordan, Series 160 main event, WWE Mattel. And just remember this from your boy, all that glitter isn't gold. Have a good night, everybody.